Questions and comments. The Honourable Member for Edmonton West.
Thanks, Madam Speaker. I'd like to thank my colleague for his speech. He brought up some very important items about what we could have done with the money instead. In Edmonton West, we have an organization, there's one in Calgary as well, a sister organization called the Veterans Association Food Bank, where we actually have a food bank just for veterans, and we struggle to keep it stocked, which is disgraceful in this day and age in Canada that we have veterans going to a food bank. One of the sister scandal of the Green Slush Fund, instead of Other Randy, we have the other Green Slush Fund, the Net Zero Accelerator, which the Auditor General reported on, showed $15 million of taxpayers' money went to a large corporation worth $30 billion that was actually funding ISIS. Now, I wonder if the member would care to comment about the government's priority of funding massive billion-dollar multinationals that are actually siphoning money off to ISIS.
The Honourable Member for Banff Airdrie.
Well, let me first comment on the comment that my colleague made about the Veterans Association Food Bank in Edmonton, and I have visited that food bank on a couple of occasions to just check in with them to see how things are going for veterans. There's actually two veterans food banks, two different veterans food banks in Edmonton, and they both have trouble keeping the shelves stocked. And I see that in communities all across this country, and it should never be the case that we even need a veterans food bank, let alone that we can't seem to find ways to keep the shelves stocked because the demand is so great. But to the point he raised, I mean, when those who serve and have served see things like he mentioned, when they see that they're not so underfunded, like in some cases are buying their own helmets. They're like, can you imagine the ridiculousness of that? They're having to buy some of their own equipment because they can't get it provided to them. When you hear stories like the ones I've told about veterans who cannot get the benefits that they're entitled to for years, and then you hear things like that, the very thing that those people went to serve, to fight against, is receiving funding. You know, there is so much more that we could do to ensure that our military has the equipment and resources they need. So much more we could do to ensure that our veterans have what they deserve. And instead, we send this money away to places. It's just disgraceful, and it's time that we start to rechannel that into making sure that our forces have what they need, into ensuring that our veterans have what they need, and that's going to have a big impact, not just on the morale, which is an incredibly important thing, not just on our ability to be operationally ready in this country to do the job that we need to do to defend this country, but that also has impacts on our ability to work with other governments and to be able to have Canada have a place of influence in the world. And I'll tell you right now, with the Prime Minister that we have, Canada is not at the table at all, and it's time for us to change that.
Resuming debate.